This week we'll be talking about new details emerging from the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer, including joining a Pokemon University, hunting for treasure, and riding your legendary Pokemon like a Harley. Vroom, vroom. Can't wait. We get first look at Deadrop, the Call of Duty killer, fueled by NFTs and backed by DrDisrespect, if you remember that guy. Activision Blizzard asks, would you pay $45 for a skin? Maybe. Square Enix slimming down its company to secure its spot on this season of the next purchase publisher. Can't wait for that episode, you know what I mean? Zenless Zone gameplay is finally here, and I am so excited. And more on season 6, episode 30 of Press X to Start podcast. Okay. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka I am the final evolution of Quaxley, and I can't wait to play with my previous forms coming in this fall. Let's go. Who else is here?
It's your heavyweight champion from Witchnigwood, California, aka the janitor because we watch niggas, aka fuck David Zasloff and everybody that love him, aka
Let's go.
we live in a lay chonk supremacy over here, Marcus Ellison.
I'm not going to relitigate my issue with what you just said, but more power to you.
Well, who are you? I mean,
I am Avery. That's all you need to know.
Yes. Consistency is key. I love it.
I feel like you should
All
say
right.
that from now on. I'm Avery, and that's all you need to know. That's fire.
That feels antagonistic, and that feels like I'm challenging people to figure out who I am. I don't need anyone looking me up.
Fair point.
I don't want a Bob Odenkirk situation right now, man, where I can't even casually enjoy the internet without people questioning my love of feet. Oh, you didn't know that? Bob Odenkirk has an Instagram, and he only follows like 5 people. And then the other day, he followed like Instagram account called Good Feet and Pretty Shoes. It blew up on the internet. He had to unfollow, and now people are just shaming him for liking feet.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Bob. I mean, that's what Wiki Feet for, man.
Feet, you know, you're right. Just get a subscription, right?
Exactly.
All right, now you know who we are and what what's his name? Bob Kirk? Odenkirk, okay. And what Bob Odenkirk likes. Press X Star Podcast is a weekly show where we talk about the latest gaming news, review the biggest games, and give you our thoughts on the games we are playing. Our goal is to expand the video game media landscape through an underserved point of view. It's our point of view. It's our point of view. You know what I mean? All right. Well, with that being said, I know yabba dabba do. You know what I mean? Fred Flintstone. All right, let's jump into the quick hits. You remember the Flintstones? I don't know. Sometimes I press the button and my mouth just kind of goes on autopilot, and my brain's like, wait, I didn't mean to press the button. This is too late. All right, Avery, take it away. I'm done talking.
Cool beans. Our first story is from Eurogamer. It's from Tom Phillips. So DrDisrespect, one of the infamous Twitch streamers who got kicked off of Twitch for an unknown reason. We still, to this day, do not know why he was deplatformed from Twitch. Right now, he's just on YouTube. He's also better known for most people who aren't in the Twitch ecosystem for winning a Game Award for Streamer of the Year from the Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, and then being caught cheating on his wife with one of his fans. So that's the situation that he's had to deal with. He's an infamous
horrendous.
Yeah, he's an infamous streamer who puts on the personality of a video game WWE character.
Yeah,
which
that's a good
which is what attracted me to him in the first place. Like, this is actually hilarious that he's doing this character. But then the longer it's gone on, as long as like when you only exist on the internet as a character, do you exist in any other form? And so when you react as this character to literally everything, is it not just you reacting? This has been my long preamble about DrDisrespect to point out that a while ago he said he was doing his own video game. He built this studio, I believe, called fuck. I had the name in my head. Fuck. Anyway, he built the studio, and then in his Dr. Disrespect way of like hyping shit up, when COD had their big reveal for Modern Warfare 2, he said, "Oh man, if you've seen COD, you're not gonna my game's gonna blow it out of the water." Those are the words he said, and I'm not a marketing guy or a PR guy, but like if I'm one of those two and I'm part of a small team making a game, I don't want the founder of our company in any way, shape, or form challenging the best FPS game in the world.
Yeah.
So so he came out with this, came out swinging. His game and because of the way his game is made, in that they put out every 6 weeks a snapshot or of a game to its paid founders who are getting NFTs, which is how his game is being funded with NFTs. We got a first look at his game called DeadDrop, which is it's a looter shooter FPS. So it's like an escape from Tarkov situation where you're gathering loot and extracting it. It seems to be a dystopian cyberpunk-esque game, so it's distinct enough from those games, but from all footage, it looks like a well put together game, but it doesn't look like a Call of Duty killer, if that makes sense.
Not at all. Not at all. And right
Nothing
now,
ever does.
yeah.
According to some
Yeah,
publishers, that's there's nothing special about it, but we'll move on from there.
yeah, it doesn't give you the feel of Call of Duty killer if you're watching this footage. It looks like a uh fan project of a first
I mean,
person
it looks like
shooter.
a high quality fan project. This is a game in
Yeah,
early alpha. There's nothing playable about this game as of yet. There's sections you
right.
can walk around and interact with, but like to say you are like this is a beta that they're releasing to people to test things. This is nowhere. It's nowhere close to that.
I'm not even gonna hold you. This looks way too slow to be a Call of Duty killer.
Well, that's just a
Yeah.
Tarkov game, and those games
Yeah.
are just slow as hell. So like, if he said, "Oh, if you've seen Escape from Tarkov," or hell, if you've seen The Cycle, my game blows it out of the water. That's more believable in terms of like a
That'd make more sense, right? Yeah.
genre.
And like as you saw where he opens up the menu, it does look more like a Escape from Tarkov or even a like a PUBG in terms of like you're putting on armor and stuff onto your body. Yeah. So yeah,
I get wanting to Babe Ruth it and call your shot, but people need to stop calling themselves certain game killers, or people need to stop putting themselves in competition with things that, if you really read the tea leaves or look at the content, they're not in competition. They need to stop doing
yeah.
that shit because they're setting themselves up to fail a lot of the time.
Right, right. It's not worth it. Like it'd probably been more impactful if he just said, "Hey, look, I'm working on this new first person shooter where I'm inspired by Call of Duty," versus trying to call the Call of Duty killer. Because if you position it that way, people are going to people are going to wait for the first drop of this content just to flame it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's the
I,
internet,
yeah,
and that's what they
yeah,
did.
it doesn't help that Doc is at this point an unlikable sort of character between the rhetoric, the Doctor Disrespect rhetoric, and his just general good example is Paul Tassi, the forums writer who's just super interested in all these types of games, has been doing a lot of like research into Doc in this game and everything was made. And like he was doing his due diligence as a reporter, but Disrespect was just railing him for no reason. When like Paul was just asking simple questions. Like Paul asked, one of the big things they touted was the snapshots, where every 6 months we're gonna, not even 6 months, 6 weeks we're gonna send you a development build so we can build the game with the fans. And Paul Tassi was like, "Is that possible? Let me ask other game journalists." And Disrespect went like a rant about how I don't need to ask any other game journalist how to make my game. And like, like I said, at what point is this the character or you, Guy Beam, the person,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Avery,
reacting to
that's what us in the wrestling community call going heel and doing the shoot.
Anyway, this game
Oh
is far
man.
from complete. So we'll see it maybe in the next 2 years, or probably the next year and a year when the game goes into early access for the next 5 years. I think it's made. That's what I think.
Y'all y'all gonna put that joint on your fantasy list?
I mean, my fantasy list is essentially only games that I would play. So like,
Oh
no,
my god.
like my
Would I
issue with
put
the
this on my 2024 fantasy list? No, never. No.
like my issue with my issue with these looter type games is that there's no end to them. Like I could put in 100 hours into this game, and then for the game to be functional, it's going to wipe off all my progress. So there's a new wipe for me to keep coming back to. I don't find
Yeah.
that fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
our next story. This is from Reuters. Interesting. This is from Julie Zhu and Selena Lee. Exclusive. Tencent seeks bigger stake in Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft. So around a couple years ago, Vivendi was trying to eat Ubisoft. Like they were trying to devour them. And what ended up
Inky.
happening
Like
is that
Hungry Hippo style, you know.
no, I'm talking about like Lovecraftian horror.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Like I
Like
said, kinky.
They got a whole Cthulhu mask and everything.
They're going
no.
into the vor category.
Oh god.
Everyone seen more like a Nope situation. So so they tried to do that. Ubisoft did a bunch of like very public and like very like good financial business moves to fight off Vivendi. And one of the things they did was to take a very small get a very small stake of their company to Tencent. Fast forward a couple years later, Ubisoft is now on the back foot. I can't tell if a lot of the decisions they made during that time have not panned out, or if their misconduct during that time is what like lit the fire of the situation. But essentially, Tencent has made it clear that they want to acquire a bigger stake of Ubisoft, which probably entails actually acquiring Ubisoft as they develop to their portfolio. And I'm of two minds of this, in that Ubisoft has, well, I do believe that Ubisoft can put out good, interesting games, and they're on track to do those with more Splinter Cell, whatever the hell Beyond Good and Evil is, and the evolution of certain game franchises that they've been doing a good enough stewardship with. I think they would benefit from a seat change in leadership, but
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't think Tencent should be the one to do that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I think, you know, per our experience with watching how Tencent manages stuff, they do just kind of, you know, invest in a company and just kind of sit back and let the company do what they were doing and just, you know, just get some of that money. So it is possible that, you know, Tencent would just kind of do the same thing. So I don't know if they are trying to get Ubisoft and they do get Ubisoft. I don't really know if there's going to be any difference other than the fact that Ubisoft right now is having a hard time with creating properties that stick essentially.
I think there'd be a larger China influence, if that makes sense, into what Ubisoft puts out.
Oh,
Assassin's Creed
absolutely.
in China, okay. You know, that could work. But yeah, I don't know.
You play as Genghis Khan.
The first assassin.
I'm not gonna go deep diving into any Assassin's Creed lore, but yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where this goes. It doesn't look like Ubisoft's actually going to fight this time, unlike when they fought with Vivendi. I'm genuinely interested in what's going to happen with that company, especially like there used to be a period of time where Ubisoft was my favorite third-party developer. That has changed significantly with their with the evolution of one of my favorite franchises, Assassin's Creed, to a game franchise I won't touch. And I think the general mismanagement of the first-party single-player games that they used to have that I was super into, like Splinter Cell, the Rayman games, what even
Mm.
happened with Beyond Good and Evil 2? There's a little bit of news that came out this week that game finally got a writer, which makes no sense when that game has been in development for 5 years. Like,
Yeah,
what the
that's
fuck is
fucking
happening?
wild.
Ridiculous.
That's
That's
That is
fucking wild.
ridiculous. Yo, our graphics are top notch. We have no story though.
We don't know what's happening in this game, but it looks great.
I don't know.
Crazy,
Wild.
man. It's absolutely crazy.
Ubisoft. In other media conglomerate bullshit, this is from GamesIndustry.biz. This is from James Batchelor. Koch, I think is Koch Media, rebrands as Plaion to acknowledge who we truly are. This is a very small story, but it's a very interesting story in that
It is.
this group who have a hard to pronounce name because of you have it because there's a way you want to pronounce it, but then you're in your head like it probably can't be that.
Right.
Change their name to a title, change their company name to a name that if they don't tell you how it's pronounced, you're going to pronounce it wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So this company makes games? Yes. Porn games? No, just games.
Oh God, no. Would you like to join the cock?
Right. Yeah, but it's good that they're changing their name to it's not as confusing. It's a little bit better, but that I really should just be a Y.
If you tell me it's
Yeah.
supposed to be play on, then why did you spell it Plaion?
Yeah, like yikes, man. I just don't know.
It's another interesting thing about this entire back to the corporate org bullshit. Like, apparently Koch Media was part of the Embracer group.
Mhm.
So I don't even know. In my video game industry knowledge, I have no idea what this company is. I remember they did a press conference where they showed no games, just talked a bunch, and I was bored out of my mind. And I still don't know what they do.
I'm pretty sure Koch, I don't know if they still are, but I'm pretty sure Koch had a recording studio. Like, I'm pretty sure Koch Records was a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that will be interesting. Are they? It turns out they just making music in the background. Is that what their whole end goal is?
Maybe.
Okay, so just a quick rundown of what Koch Media, now Plaion, owns. The biggest is Deep Silver, which gives them volition. So they're the team that's working on the next Saints Row game. Everything else is a bunch of European studios that I have no idea what they make. So I can't even tell you what to expect out of them outside of the next Saints Row.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It is one of those things where everyone just kind of wondering what is Embracer Group. What's their goal by just buying up all these studios and then having Koch, or I guess Plaion, be a branch of that? And it's like, okay, well, what are you guys doing? And we still just don't have an answer other than they're going to make games, but we just don't have any games from them. I could be jumping the gun, but I feel like Saints Row is probably the first triple A level game that's coming out of this whole conglomerate of money. So all right.
It's simple, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
They gotta fight Tencent and Microsoft for that.
It's funny now, but then when they either partner with or just buy Tencent, then it's like, oh, this is a problem. This is an actual problem.
I mean, in the corporate consolidation and fucking buying publishers crowd, right now that I have no idea where we're going forward. Because certain companies, I understand why they're making these moves, like a Microsoft or to a lesser extent a Sony, why they make these moves. I can't tell you what's Tencent's motive behind the moves they make. I can't tell you what the Embracer Group's motives for the games they make. So it can go in any direction.
Hey there. Are you enjoying this episode? You are? Great. If you're listening to the podcast, then please leave a review on the podcast app that you're using. If you're watching us, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. After that, you can go to pressx2start.com. There you'll find all the information about us, the podcast, the links to all of our social media channels, and to our Discord. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Now back to the podcast. Yeah.
Our next story, I don't have a lot to really say, but this is going to be a very DJ focused thing. But so this is from The Verge. This is from Ash Parrish. I apologize for the pronunciation of your name. Got that lisp. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's new trailer shows trainer schools and pokécycles. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have had their not their big rollout, but more details on what those games are after they were announced, and we got a brief idea of what they were going to be on.
Yep.
They revealed only a couple brand new Pokemon, so that's a little bit disappointing. They gave more context to what their legendaries are, and in the grand scheme of this game being an open world game in a more pronounced vein than Pokemon Legends Arceus, that the difference between these legendaries and the other ones is that they are now your means of travel and transportation. So in the vein of them finally gutting HMs and what those mean to the franchise, if you want to fly now, you jump on the back of this Pokemon. There's that. They showed up a bunch of the. They show up a bunch of the new Pokemon, and then they introduce their next fucking Pokemon gimmick. So I want to say it's, without looking it up, terrestrialization.
I think that's it right there.
In which your Pokemon turn into crystals that change their type.
Yep.
Yes, I think.
Well, yes.
Oh God, the Crystal Girls have gotten to Pokemon.
I think before I let DJ go on because he's super excited for this game, I think that I'm still in a very much wait and see approach to this game, in that the format in which they're building it doesn't really interest me. I'm of the mindset that if you're going to go all in on modern game design things, the game should feel like a modern game design game. And the fact that we still live in a Pokemon world where there's no voices, that the world itself doesn't look at the caliber of texture and design that other open worlds, even on the Switch, look, is a little just like, there are a bunch of half measures for me that makes the step in this direction less interesting. But I'm more interested, what will make me play this game is what Pokemon are going to be introduced. And this trailer didn't have enough new interesting Pokemon to really get me to be like, all right, this is a day one purchase. So I'm going to wait and see approach with this. DJ?
Okay, yeah. So Avery has basically gave us a good rundown of what they've shown in this trailer that I'm playing right now. Overall, I am pretty excited for this. As I mentioned in my AKA, I will be a Quaxley. Am I saying that right? Quaxley main. And I think I understand the hesitance that Avery has, because I also, am looking at this game from the lens of this is Game Freak doing the best they can. I'm guessing, because this doesn't necessarily look amazing. I always like just being involved and living in the Pokemon world for the 2 or 3 months that I play the game, and then kind of move on. But I like the I like the um had a brain freeze there. I like them putting us in the world of these, I guess, Pokemon University students. I think that's a cool approach. It feels very Harry Potter, but with Pokemon to me in a way.
Yeah, I
So
was going to say that too.
yeah. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that there's more to do with that. And because in the trailer they talk about you're hunting for treasure, and it's like, what does that mean? You never hunt for treasure in Pokemon. You hunt for a legendary Pokemon. I think I think they are doing a lot to change up the normal formula where they're giving us the Pokemon from the start, apparently, and you can ride them. I think that's cool, but the chase has always been for the legendary Pokemon. So I wonder how that's going to change the the chase for this, other than this whole treasure thing. Go ahead, Avery. You want to say something?
Yeah, so like in that vein where we're talking about the Pokemon University and things like that, and you're like, oh, look, my big thing, another one of my big things about these changes of narrative that they're putting the changes to the game's design about an open world is I don't like Pokemon games have never had a good story. Like they've had
You're not
okay
wrong.
stories, they've had okay stories, and like open world games don't like lend well to like really thoughtful, well thought out stories. So like the forward progression that their narratives have gotten, like feel like it's going to take a step back. And then I in my half like a lot of this feels like half step, half magic kind of thing. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily feel like from anything they showed me, especially the weirdness of well, this game's gonna be direct split into three narratives. One is
Yeah,
the gym challenge, where they're like, okay, well, this one thing I like and will keep me interested in a Pokemon game, despite their weirdness of you can take them in any, you can go in any direction that you can. However, there's no
yeah.
level scaling, so like there's clearly a way they want you to take all these gym missions and like
There's gonna be
another
a
half,
golden path for sure.
which is
Like,
another half step. I'm like, okay, there's not really a freedom unless you want to Marcus' point, spend 70 hours training a full team of Lechonk so you can take on the last gym leader first or some bullshit like that. But yeah, like, but then they don't talk about what
One
the
shot
other
the
two,
last gym leader.
yeah,
right?
but they don't talk about what the last two stories are going to be. But in my head, they're obviously going to be based on everything I know about Pokemon and them all the half vendors that are going through, and that all three of these stories are all in every Pokemon game. It's whatever the the evil team is going to be in this game, and
With
B,
Team
whatever
Rocket,
the
yeah.
whatever story they're telling with the legendary Pokemon. So I don't know why they're obfuscating like, oh man, we're doing something new and
Yeah,
interesting with this when what we know
yeah.
it's going to be.
So, like, that's why I think it's interesting because I think they're going to try and change up that story plot because, yeah, it is a thing of like we're so accustomed to those particular story narratives in Pokemon. So for in this case, it's like, all right, well, why would you create the level of like mystique around it when we know what it's going to be? So I'm thinking that they're going to probably do something a little different in that case.
Yeah, they're probably going
Um,
to subvert at least one of those. I don't know if
yeah,
they're going to subvert both. Like, there's probably going to at least be something dealing with the legendaries, or there's going to be something dealing with the evil team. But I don't think both of those things are going to be there.
yeah. I don't know, because I totally get everybody's like hesitance in terms of like, nah, this is Pokemon. They've
Oh,
pretty
yeah, no,
much
no,
stuck
totally.
with the formula. So, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. I'm that part. I'm just like whatever because for me, Pokemon, as Avery said, has never really been about the story. It's more about like the new Pokemon you get in the gameplay. And with this, they're go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just going to say that I wonder if the treasure hunting things, because we were just talking about how crystals or the
Yeah,
terrestrialization is turning the Pokemon into crystals. Maybe that's the treasure. Maybe it's crystallized Pokemon that you're trying to find.
right. Yeah, that's a possibility. But you say crystallized, I say bedazzle. So this whole new feature of bedazzling your Pokemon, I think, is ridiculous in that the Gigamax felt like, man, you guys ran out of ideas. But this feels like you guys really ran out of ideas. Like, what is
100%.
happening? Yeah, like I think the idea
They
of
want to be
because like
Digimon so
in
bad.
like I
Meanwhile,
think
Digimon hasn't been shit for 10 years.
the
But was still
idea
superior.
of you get
Fair.
like, for example,
Except for
in the
season 2.
trailer, in the trailer they mentioned how like you can get an Eevee and there's possibility of the Eevee crystallizing into like a grass type or a water type, and I think things like that is cool because that's
No,
going to affect like competitive play.
yeah, that
But
is the cool thing about that idea is that
yeah,
there is now a mystique to, okay, I'm going to throw out a fucking let's say a Steelix.
hmm,
Cool. The Steelix crystallized. It's no longer steel type, it's a water type. So the fire type
right,
Pokemon you brought into this fight thinking you had stab
not
is
gonna
no
work.
longer going to be effective. That's a cool
Yep.
idea. But the implementation of what that looks like in comparison to all the other shit they've done feels weird.
It does. It really does.
It
I
also
I
kind of
do.
makes some of the names redundant. Like if you turn a Steelix into a non-steel type, then it's like, oh, okay.
Right. Okay, cool, thanks. But
They
yeah, like, I
also
do.
no, continue, either.
Okay. I do like the fact that they are allowing, like, this is going to happen for all the Pokemon. I really, really hope that they take the time to make the changes in type more pronounced through a lot of the Pokemon and not just like 4 types of Pokemon that can do the change type thing. Because like yeah, because I see you like,
Yeah.
bobbing your head. I
We
get that.
after V moves, Megaforms, and Gigantamaxes, and then the half steps of all of those. Like I, what I'm hoping, what I think is going to happen is that all Pokemon are going to have a terrestrialization.
Yeah.
If they're smart, what they terrestrialize is going to be entirely random, so they don't have to do any work. But what,
Oh.
but what
Wait,
I
wait,
think,
wait, wait. Random in terms of
like
like the game picks it the one time and that's what it goes to?
yes, not
Okay, okay.
like the description was that Eevee could be a water or grass type. In my From that description, I'm like, okay, if I'm looking for a terrestrialized Eevee, it's going to be either one of those types,
Mhm.
or I think it. What I hope it's going to be is like, oh, it's going to be random. It could be any type,
Yeah.
which is what
Yeah.
I hope they go on. But based on
Yeah.
everything they've done, what I think they're going to do is that they're going to bespoke pick a couple of types. Most Pokemon are going to terrestrialize to their same type, and everyone like maybe
Mm.
15 or 20 are going to have unique terrestrialization types that change the way they function.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming.
I'm guessing that they might do a thing where the type change is going to be tied to the nature of the Pokemon because nature was a thing that, they played around with. And I think the raid battles that they have that show like, oh, you get specialized Pokemon crystal bedazzle forms of these Pokemon. I think that might be where you find the Pokemon that goes against their nature in terms of when they bedazzle themselves. So like, yeah, I think we're kind of just
We're in the weeds
speculating.
because
Yeah,
we like I said, one of my things I disliked about this trailer is that we only got 3 new Pokemon announced in it. 2 are
Fido.
brand new, and one is just Wooper but brown. So I'm like, I need more
African
Pokemon.
American Whooper, let's go.
Dude, I don't want to get into
Black
this.
History Month Whooper.
I don't want to get into this. But I need to see more
I
Pokemon.
hate
I need to see more
real quick
Pokemon.
though. Real quick, I hate the fact that they're like, yes, this brown skin Whooper is poisonous. I'm like, motherfuckers, how dare
That
you?
Whooper's poison.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, like overall, like Pokemon, like they already got me in the bag. Like I'm gonna buy it, so I'm gonna be here for it. I think the one thing that there's a potential of it being really cool, where like Marcus talked about having a team full of Lechonks or whatever, and like if you find like the right crystallization of forms of them, he could have like a diverse team. And it's just like, hey, look, this normal type Pokemon, because obviously it's gonna be a normal type. It has a fire type version of it, has a grass type, has a water type, electric, flying,
Excuse
rock.
me. Excuse me. Lechonk is a thick type. Put some respect on his name.
Hey, I'm
Yeah. Oh
sorry.
yeah.
Please
Before we
forgive
move
me.
on, there's one thing I forgot to talk about this is that they sort of fully unveiled that there's also a four player Pokemon game, and that you and your friends can team up and
Multiplayer.
play Pokemon together. Which
Yeah.
I don't remember how it worked in Sword and Shield when we did it in the wild area, but like my issue with most for like multiplayer turn-based games is there's an inherent kind of boringness to teaming up with others when they're just going to stand there for 2 to 3 minutes, not interacting
So
with anything.
right. So thank you for mentioning that because in the raid battles, it's no longer turn based.
Yes,
So each person is attacking and either healing themselves in their own time. So
ATB.
Right, yeah. So I think like that's really cool. That's interesting. I would love to see how that actually works. And I'm wondering if when you are playing 4-player co-op, how does that work if you just fight a normal Pokemon?
That's my thing.
Like,
That's my thing. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
These half steps. Like, okay, you
yeah,
solved the multiplayer turn-based issue with active time battles, but then you seem to have only reserved that to raids when that needs to be an active thing that happens with every interaction in the world.
right,
So that your
right.
characters aren't. This guy's just in a battle that we can't interact with for the next 2.5 minutes.
Let me put my person in front of the Pokemon, see what happens. Oh man, but yeah, we'll see though. It comes out in November.
Yeah,
Ooh, November what?
yeah, end of the year.
Yeah, sometime in November. All right. Before we talk about Activision Blizzard asking us if we're gonna pay some money for some skins in Overwatch. Hey there. If you're watching us and if you're enjoying this video so far, this podcast, whatever you're listening to, however you're getting our content, if you're enjoying it, do us a favor. Jump on YouTube and hit the like button on this video. Hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell. We are actually bouncing back from whatever hiccup we had before, and we're having people subscribe to our channel. So please, if you haven't, subscribe to our channel just so we can get to 100 views. After that, no, you guys still keep the subscription because we need to keep the 100 views so we can have our own custom URL that says Press X Start Podcast, which is the best podcast ever. Make sure you join our podcast as our URL for YouTube. So please do that and help us out. Yeah, okay. With that being said, let us get back into the show. Avery, what is happening with Activision Blizzard?
Okay, so a recent this is from Kotaku from Isaiah Colbert. Blizzard asked Overwatch players if they pay $45 for a skin. Now, before we all react in the way I assume most people are going to react, this is a survey that went out. Uh, uh, I guess to people who played the beta. I've played enough Valorant to know that the answer to this question is yes. So don't fight it. Don't fight it. $45 is a steal.
It's a steal.
Look, all right. As someone who to this day has over 250 loot boxes in Overwatch that I earned from hard man hours, I probably wouldn't unless it's a skin that involves either Junker Queen or May. Because
so you've gotten to the rub in which the way this headline this headline was written by a person who doesn't. This headline was clearly written by a person who doesn't play free-to-play shooters.
Right.
And this is the trap that all free-to-play games are going to have to go into, and how do you monetize yourself, and how do you monetize yourself well. Apex had a thing where if you want a legendary skin, it's about $20, which I think is relatively fair. If you want an heirloom, it's or a if you want an heirloom or a mythic skin, that's where the money goes insane. Either you earn 500 loot boxes, where up until this last level increase, it was impossible to just earn naturally in the game, or you bought 500 loot boxes, which is going to cost you around $500, or you waited till the item was unlocked, and you unlock around $240 to $275 worth of cosmetics to unlock it. With the offset being this mythic and heirloom has unique animations, offers you more content that you normally have, and
It does your taxes. What
is
else?
genuinely a rare thing. And from the Overwatch perspective, they are. It seems like they're only charging this $45 for mythic skins, which is the thing they talked about in their dev diary about these like customizable like skins that you can that have cool new effects. So specifically the Genji one they showed off, which is like
cool ass skin.
I don't have a problem with this. Just in my understanding of how these games work and all that type of shit. I understand from a I guess the person who doesn't want to put money into this game, the idea of asking me for $45 for now a free-to-play game is ludicrous. But if you ask this question, the answer is yes. There's already so much data that says they're going to play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
DJ, I
I
need you to
think
look up clicks for Valorant guns, and like most, you want to spend $75 on a knife in Valorant? Look that shit up.
I will say in comparison to like what you were saying with like Valorant, where people paying like $75 and stuff for mythics, $45 in
Not even for
comparison,
mythics,
like you said,
just
is a
normal
steal.
stuff that they have to upgrade to then do cool stuff.
Right. Like so it's honestly $45 isn't bad. I don't know, it'd have to be one hell of a skin for a character that I actually play. Because the last time, and I think really the only time I've spent money on Overwatch was so that I could get Lucio's DJ set emote, which you could only get through either, I think, spending like $10 or having Overwatch League points. And since I didn't have any Overwatch League points, I just said, all right, I'll drop $10 so I can get this emote that I use every time I'm in the spawn room. So,
No one has Overwatch League points. That franchise is dead. And Blizzard killed
it. Yeah, like it is one of those things where, on the face of it, you're like, no, absolutely not. $45, that's too much. But with perspective, with you playing this game for potentially years, $45 is not going to seem like a bad deal. Especially like, yeah, like if you are playing a character consistently and it's just like, man, I want this character to look super as cool as possible. You're probably gonna drop the $45 because it's just like I might as well support this game because I love this game. I'm playing this game consistently,
Yeah.
and like that's one of the things where I now me okay that's me being objective. Subjectively, I think it gets kind of weird because this game is a first person shooter, so you're not necessarily seeing the skin all the time unless like you're hanging in menus or when you do like a taunt, does that
Yeah.
switch
When
out
you
to third
emote,
person?
Yeah.
you switch to third
Yeah.
person.
Okay. So like there's possibilities of you seeing the skin. So
or you see
for me,
yourself
it's
on the
kind of
kill
like
cam after you die.
right.
Dying
So
in
yeah,
style.
exactly. So there's a possibility of like the $45 being completely worth it if you just suck at the game. You just die all the time, Yeah. But like I don't I don't know. It's I don't know. It's tough to say because like I'm right now. I'm just like I don't know. I'm kind of hesitant, but then I look at like how much money I spent in Gundam. It's just like, all right, moving on.
What I will say is as long as they don't, because I know they're not doing SR anymore, but as long as they don't
What is
do
SR?
SR is I forget what it stands for, but basically it's
Stick break.
basically it's points you accumulate from doing comp games. Or no,
Oh,
your
okay,
rank
okay.
in your rank in comp.
Yeah.
But as long as they don't do away with
Elo.
competitive points that you gain, because I have like 3 or 4 golden guns in Overwatch for characters that I've played a lot and put the time in to get those. And as long as I don't have to pay for those, as long as I can still use the comp points for
So then you're
those,
already
then
unlocked. Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
That's an interesting thing. And now that Overwatch is going from a loot box system where there was only one other type of one currency, which was the gold you got from from either a random box or like duplicates. It's now going to get into a situation where it's going to have multiple types of currency to balance the fact that it's a free to play game now, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think my question, and of course we don't have the answer, is like, all right, with this being a $45 skin, is that the only way to get the skin, or can you
Yes,
get the
it will be
skin by?
100%. It will be the only way to get the skin.
Oh,
Like no game releases like valuable content at that level and then doesn't make you pay for it.
yeah.
Like I said, in Apex, the only way to have gotten an heirloom was to open 500 loot boxes and that would say guarantee you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Before this update, they only gave you around 200 free loot boxes, which means at a certain
Okay.
point you would have to have put money into the game to get a free heirloom, to get an
Right,
heirloom.
yeah.
And I
Because like,
got my first heirloom at like maybe 120 loot boxes, maybe half of which I spent money on. and then I got my second heirloom from like just one day spending $270 on a bunch of cosmetics, which were all fire.
Okay.
And I don't regret them because they're all fucking
Right.
banger cosmetics. And then I got the Watson heirloom.
Right. Okay. I see.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the answer is yes. I like
Yeah. That's
that
gonna
game
happen.
told me I had to spend $270, and I said, you know what, fair. Fair.
Like I will say that like it's a similar system in Gundam in that the like for example like the unicorn that I was talking about like last week, like they had a 7-step spin where each step you get closer, and the 7th step you actually get the suit like guaranteed. So like you do, if you save up, it's like 200 and something tokens, but you get 3 tokens a day for doing the daily. So like there are people who are saving up, but they were saving up since like February or something. So like there's a chance of getting it just naturally playing the game, but more than likely you're gonna have to spend
They
money
want
because
a good free to play game wants you to spend money.
exactly.
They will never balance the system to be in a way that is fair and easy to get shit. They will balance the system in a way that you can get shit or just spend a little money, speed it up.
Yeah, just tap that credit
Money,
card.
please.
Okay. Our final story, and this is from VGC. Shout out to them. This is from Chris Scullion. Square Enix has reportedly confirmed it's looking to sell stakes in its studio. This is a weird, multifaceted story that it has multiple factors beyond just the headline of selling stakes. They talked about some of the reasons why they sold their Western studios, was they wanted to focus those resources on their Eastern development. They've talked about they talked about how the selling stakes is to now selling stakes is for them to streamline their content and free up capital to do other things in them, which honestly it sounds like underperforming studios that don't perform well, they're gonna sell stakes to that, so that in a chance that like if in a world in which Square Enix gets bought out, those studios can easily be sold off to make the deal
Right.
smoother, I believe. All in all, this story pretty much boils down to the ongoing narrative that Square Enix is preparing itself to be sold.
Yep. So I mean, who do y'all think is gonna bite? Okay, let me rephrase that. Beyond Sony, who do you think could be runner up to bite?
It has to be a Tencent.
Like,
It has to be
yeah.
it has to be a giant Chinese or non-Western developer publishing brand that's just going to want the capital from the Final Fantasy games, the Kingdom Hearts games, the Dragon
Right.
Quest games. Like if
Do
it's
you
not Sony, that's
think-
the only thing that makes sense.
Do you think that a Chinese studio would buy a Japanese studio?
In a world
Hmm.
like okay, if we remove I'm just thinking who had the capital to buy Square. It has to be
Right.
another publishing brand. Publishing brand.
No, right, yeah.
All the other ones I can think of don't have there's no real reason for why they would want to buy this.
Would
If that makes
Microsoft?
sense. Microsoft would definitely want to buy Square.
Yeah.
But can Microsoft buy Square after spending $70 billion on Activision Blizzard? They can. They have the money. But do you think a governing body would see them make that move and then let them immediately make this move?
Yeah, I think it gets kind of tricky for Microsoft to, while being litigated for the Activision Blizzard purchase another studio. But I mean, I don't really know law, so like they could just be like, yeah, fuck, yeah, we could do it. We got the money. Like, okay, we'll just sit in
Screw
more
the rules, I
litigation.
have money.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Word to Seto
it-
Kaiba.
right? So yeah, so it is kind of just like I don't know. I like Microsoft could do it, and that'd be super crazy because that would give them a foothold in
No, they would
the
have. They would
Japanese
own
market.
all. They would. It wasn't even just a foothold in all the Japanese market. They would own effectively all RPGs,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're fucking right. Jesus
which is why I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to happen. Like, I don't think a regular.
Yeah.
I do not see a world, a regulatory board, a Japanese regulatory board lets a Western entity just buy one of a wholly Japanese like corporation,
Yeah.
and then B,
Yeah.
our Western regulatory board not see Microsoft, the corporation, not Xbox, see them make this buy and say, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
That's true.
think, yeah, the only really four entities that would make sense are Microsoft, Tencent, Nintendo, and Sony. And I feel like
It's Nintendo. It's never going to happen with Nintendo because
that's why,
with
yeah,
the way the Switch works, there's no value in getting your hands on any of the Final Fantasy games in their current states when the Switch
exactly.
cannot run them.
So
Yep.
frankly, Sony's the only thing that makes sense because Tencent, like we said, has the capital, but there's the Chinese Japan thing. So I'm not really sure that that would happen. Microsoft, probably not just due to the Activision thing. Nintendo, the Switch doesn't work for it. So yeah, I think Sony's the only thing that makes sense.
But that's where it gets weird for me because it's like, yes, Sony makes sense to be the ones to purchase Square Enix, but they don't need to because Square Enix is already like putting all their games on PlayStation. I mean, like Nintendo also, but like,
You say that, but we live in a world where Microsoft is eating other parts of the industry and just
well, that's
taking
true.
games
That's
away from
true.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they need to because exclusivity. Like they
Yeah.
need
And
to
Point.
because yeah.
and what makes more sense? Spending millions of dollars for exclusivity, or just having the exclusivity all right and getting all of the profit from the games.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. Yeah.
I started talking about this merger like fucking 3 years ago, and I came back on this show, and over time, I'm thinking more and more like a stupid prophet. Didn't happen when I thought it was going to happen, but I called it.
He's Nostradamus, but accidentally.
Right.
Yeah, but but beyond the Activision stuff, I have no idea what the fuck is going on with Square Enix as an actual corporation. If what they're saying is true, because their company line is we're not doing anything to be we're not doing anything to be acquired. This is all stuff to make our own business work by yada yada. Everyone else walking around and saying they're doing the shit to be fired. To acquired.
Yeah.
Wow. But like I have no like.
I mean, like, really and truly, that could also be the case. Like, they might have blown up too big and realized that, like, oh, we can't manage all of our properties, and we're basically screwing the Western side over. So let's just get rid of that and kind of go back to being like the Japanese main side kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't know. All right. You have anything else to hit us with, Avery?
No, that was all of them.
All right.
Despite it being a sort of a how would I say anemic week of like really interesting news, that was a relatively meaty quick hits. So I'm rechristening it long hits, and then I mean slow hits. Slow hits makes more sense. Long hits does not make sense. What the fuck am I talking about? So it's like slow hits, and we can move on.
All right. All right. We hope you enjoyed this episode and much you enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcasting app. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button for your favorite YouTube channel. That's our channel. In case you missed any of this, in case you missed any of this information, you can find all that and more on our website at pressx2start.com. Until next time, where we'll be, of course, talking about more games and more gaming news. You take care, you be safe, and you have a great day.
Uno out.